Hi and welcome to the latest Riders Lounge podcast. I'm your host for the show, Steve Sommerfeld, and this episode again is another Throwback Thursday with the Two Wheels to Freedom YouTube and Rumble live channel with Clint Esposito. Now this is the second part of FMX Riot, the second competition. It was 1 year on. If you tuned into the last podcast or you watched as we did our little companion live on YouTube or Rumble, this is the second one. The first one, there was the main part of it, of course, was Mike Metzger and Twitch. It was the first backflips in natural terrain. They were pushing each other. In the end, Metz took the win, Twitch in second. This time, we go to Swingarm City in Caneville, Utah. You can tell that the first episode was, not that it was a pilot, but it was definitely the first one. This video we've just watched, this competition was stepped up so much. The camera angles looked so much better. Like how it all just flowed was actually quite cool. And the tricks were way bigger. Now, I don't know, you guys, it depends what you like. You could be up for free riding as no tricks. Sometimes you like to have a little bit. And, it is what it is. There was the discussion even from the riders in this competition. Obviously, Todd Potter, one of those guys who will throw down the biggest double heart, all rock solid off of any old snotty jump that he can find. And then you got guys like Metzger, even Larry Linkogle, who arrived and threw down. And actually, Larry did something quite cool in this clip. It was the 180 off a snotty, tiny little, basically dirt quarter pipe, about let's say 2 tire widths wide. And he made that thing look so damn good. So, what is this podcast? This podcast is basically the end of watching the video. So if you want to watch the whole clip, jump on to Two Wheels to Freedom on YouTube. It should be up by now. We had a little bit of a technical problem on the live, so I think it went out, but Clint might have had to take it down and re-upload. So if you want to watch it, it is awesome. It's one of the best competitions out there. So jump onto Two Wheels to Freedom to watch it. If you already know how it all goes and you just want to listen to us pick apart some of the interesting things that came out of it, like Metz disappearing on the last day. And actually, we didn't even think about this. Linkogle also disappeared on the last day. So there's a couple of things going on here in this competition. We will get to the bottom of that, I hope. And I hope you guys enjoy it. So sit down, grab yourself a Tannenzäpfler alcohol-free beer, and enjoy this Throwback Thursday from FMX Riot number 2. Oh, and a huge thank you to Paul Taubleib for sending this clip through for us to do the throwback series on. We really appreciate it. And please, Paul, keep these clips coming. We are pumped to do it. All right, guys, enjoy. Yeah, I think I said it a little bit before, but yeah, in the FMX Riot 1, basically Metz and Twitch, let's say they directed the competition in saying, yeah, that's great, that's great, Busty. You did a lot of tricks, mate, but you're not winning this. It's all about finding the jumps. Yeah. So coming into this one, I'm like, oh, well then Linkogle and Metz are going to win this. Like, they're on top. But it looks like it went a little bit more freestyle.
Yeah,
at least
for
on
sure.
That day one judging.
But he didn't do there's not a lot of footage of Miller doing tricks. You know, like he even said later in the thing, like, which you would think, because Miller is like a trick friggin' god. Yeah. You know, he can do anything.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
so, but he even said himself, he was like, oh, I think it's more about like, he goes, like if somebody's already done a trick on a jump, it's not cool, which I
Yeah.
also feel like he's kind of a FMX nerd, which he probably remembers every video part or whatever that was
Yeah.
filmed there and the tricks that people did and stuff. Um,
Yeah.
so I
No, I
think,
agree.
yeah, that's why the style of doing the one-handed knacks over the hips and shit like that was really cool.
Yeah, exactly. I think those kind of tricks would be the ones to do.
Yeah.
Like you can choose what you're going to do. And I don't know who it was. Someone did like that little seat grab indie going over the top of that step down.
Yep.
And I was like, what it,
Exactly.
like, don't
I
bother.
could do that. That's not
Yeah,
really that cool.
exactly. Don't do that. don't do it.
See, but it's like also weird though, because like lazy boys, right? I don't know, some tricks. Like, do you think lazy boys are hard or not hard? I don't think they're hard, but that's because I can do them.
All right. So it was one of the first tricks I ever learned.
Yeah.
But like near the end, I couldn't do one. Like I hadn't done one in like 10 years, and I was riding with Squibby, and he was doing them one day. I'm like, oh yeah, fuck it. I'm gonna give this a shot. Couldn't do it. Could not get a lazy boy to save myself.
When I rode a couple of years ago, when I rode some shows, that was one of the things that immediately I was like, could do a lazy boy. And that's why I could do I did lazy boys over all kinds of stuff like 100-foot dirt hits and shit like that.
Yeah.
But I was like, could always do them, so it didn't seem that cool to me.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean, because like I said, I learned it. It was maybe like the third or fourth trick I ever learned. But then when I learned everything else and then tried to come back to it, couldn't get my body in the right position. Like I look like an absolute swapper.
That's weird.
And then I tried to do it like at a couple of shows. Like we went to some shows and like Squibby would do it. I'm like, oh, I'll do it in the show, and I couldn't get it. And same with cliffhangers. Cliffhanger was like maybe the 6th or 7th trick I ever learned.
Yeah, at
the end I couldn't do it. Like I just lost it.
The last time I rode, that was one of my go-tos. And the last time I rode those shows, I could not get into a cliffhanger for weeks. I rode for weeks on these shows, and I'm like, what is going on here? I could not get into it. But cliffhanger, lazy boys, though, I could just... You know why? Because I feel like the way I had it broken down, you just have to pop forward, sit down for a second, and wait for the bike to start to drop.
Exactly. Yeah, you gotta wait. No, but like that's where trick selection, if you're gonna do a trick, I think it has to be in the style or in the, I don't know, what do you call it? It has to be in the feeling, the vibe of that jump or the terrain you're in. So seat grabs, they're out.
But even double grabs, right?
The double heart. I mean,
I think that's awesome.
Doing those double hearts look fucking sick. That was cool. I
agree.
And the rock solids, but maybe 4,000 of them might have hurt his points.
Well, that's everything, right? Once you see too many. But I don't know. I feel like just because I feel like the cool thing was that he was doing a hip and then doing something in the hip, like you were saying. Yeah. Somebody else I saw do some hip the other way and did like an indie can, which was cool because he was carved and then did the indie can because he was on the hip. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I guess if you're jumping a big ass straight jump, then and definitely doing rock solids off his stuff like that, where like they were saying the lip breaks down a little bit and it's a little bit different, and now you're still doing friggin' rock solids off it. It's very impressive, especially going 4th or 5th gear.
Hell yeah, exactly.
Have you tricked anything really big?
Yeah.
So like
I think 200 or 180, 200 foot.
Okay, that's bigger than I did. But you have to jump forward in order to trick, because you don't just like jump up, you have to like jump forward so you don't lose your bike, because your bike's going so fast.
Yeah, as soon as you leave, like I remember just like basically pulling myself forward on the bike as I was taking off, because I knew I was tricking. If I was just going to jump normal, then you kind of just go with it, but as soon as I thought I was going to do a trick, was almost like I was pulling myself over the front of the
Yeah.
bike as I'm going up the lip. Yeah, it is a weird one. It definitely is weird. And you just got that rush of the wind
Yeah.
coming past, like you're like, okay, should I really let go of everything? And because I would go for double hearts or stuff like that. I hated doing Supermans over big jumps. I'd never really liked hanging off the handlebars on big ones,
Yeah.
but I was quite happy to go to my seat off of a big jump. That was
Oh
pretty
yeah.
fun.
Now that you say that, bar stuff, you really had to jump further forward, or even
Yeah.
like seat grabs or whatever, because like cliffhangers and stuff like that. You really have to jump, like try to jump through your handlebars,
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
which you kind of do for a cliffhanger anyway. You kind of have
Yeah.
to, but you really got to exaggerate it once you're going that fast.
Yeah, that's it. And did we see any cliffhangers in this
No.
at all? I don't think so.
No,
Nope.
and that's surprising, right? Because Miller, Mason, Drake, those guys
Yeah.
were all big cliffhanger guys
Oh
back in the
man,
day.
his were awesome
So
back
I
in the day.
remember we were talking about cliffhangers in the days of just throwing your feet under the bars.
Yeah.
So I did them then, and then
Yeah, same.
I scared myself and I stopped doing them. And I didn't do cliffhangers for probably like 2 years. And then I saw Miller in a video, and it was, I don't know if it was slow-mo or what, but the way you could see every single thing that he did, and it all of a sudden clicked, and I was like, oh fuck, I'm gonna learn cliffhangers. And I relearned them because I watched that video part over and over, and you could see how like he jumped forward, hit his shins on his bars, locked his feet in with his legs straight, and then straightened his waist up, and I was like, oh okay.
Yeah, I think for me it was the same, and it was actually Drake was when I first
Okay.
realized how they were doing. Like, what is the technique? How the hell are they getting so straight up and down?
Your
Like,
legs have to be as straight as possible when you hit your bars. That's the trick. Because if your legs are bent, it's really hard to like push yourself straight.
Exactly. Yeah, you kind of then go into that Christ air motion. If
Yes,
you try
exactly.
to push. So yeah, but yeah. So actually, kind of one thing that you said there that I didn't think of is actually they didn't show that many tricks from Miller.
Yeah.
Now that you say that, I was thinking he was doing a lot of tricks, but not compared to everyone else.
Yeah, they kept
So
showing.
maybe I was over here. I'm looking at Metz and Link and like I was kind of half thinking Drake just for like his different style. So I was kind of looking there, and I wasn't really looking at Miller at all.
I feel like the way that was edited was for you not, because the first day when Miller was in the lead, both of you and I were like, what? Because they basically showed Metz the whole time and Link, and then at the end of the day, all of a sudden they're like, Miller's leading, and we're like, what the hell are you talking about? And then the next days, they showed more of Miller and had everybody talk about him, how Miller's the one finding all the jumps and shit like that. So I feel like they did kind of just edit it that way so that you couldn't tell maybe right off of the bat. I don't know. I do feel like the editing of the storyline was a little bit weird. Like they should have led with Mike winning last year. That should have been the first segment, right?
I would have thought so. But then I'm wondering, did they put it in the middle as like we were all surprised that Metzger was in fourth on day one?
Maybe.
And we were surprised. Then they showed us everything about Metzger. Then he won, and then he disappeared, and he had to go to a competition somewhere at his kids'.
And Tess even said something like he left to save his body, and then he's like, I left because I got to go do a demo.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
yeah, the left hand didn't know what the right hand was going to do there. Unfortunately. So Tess was caught out trying to keep the show going, and the talent just told him what he was doing.
Well, you know how it is working with FMX guys.
I've been there before. You're like, oh, I'm just gonna fudge my way through this, and then they say something like,
yeah, you're like, this guy should be good for this interview.
Yeah. He'll
No.
play the game. Oh no, he won't. Yeah. So I feel like maybe that was a decision made afterwards because Metz disappeared on the third day. Maybe that's why they edited it that way. But yeah, I was thinking it's kind of like a bit of like a magician with their illusions. So the magician like has you looking over here when really something's happening on the other side. So we were watching the other stuff, and then Miller Miller slowly builds through the 52 minutes, and then he
Yeah.
wins it. So yeah, I
So
feel like they tricked us on that first day.
so John says he feels like there was some sort of drama going on about this event, but he doesn't remember. He's thinking
I
back to the FM
yeah,
Freestyle MTX forum days.
I have a feeling actually he's right. Um,
So you
because Link was not there on that last
I
shot
was gonna
either.
say that too. I was like, because he didn't stay there till the end either. I wonder if he was in Metz's truck. That was weird with Link, right? He crashed once, broke a chain, and then like I'm leaving, never rode
Yeah,
again.
yeah, exactly. Like,
uh,
yeah. So I'm actually John might be right there, and maybe some memories are coming back. But there could have been a little bit of a drama about that.
so you saw the interview with Drake where he
Yeah.
said Metz is real up and down.
Yes, exactly.
So they're trying to think how to put it.
If you want to read between the lines, is that what
Yeah.
you want to say?
Well, no, I do know some just like very like he's either hot or cold. Like he's
Yeah,
either the nicest fucking person you ever met or he's mad.
yeah, yeah. Fair enough too. Like, yeah, that sucks
Yeah.
because it all, like, yeah, maybe he did have that show. Maybe it was already pre-planned that he was going to go to it. But it does seem weird that you go out there for this event and you could win it, and then
Yeah.
off you go. That sucks. Would have been. I mean, the competition itself doesn't actually matter. It really,
No.
and I guess at that point, Metz doesn't give a shit anyways. Like,
Right.
I came out, I just showed everybody what to jump, and I
I
stomped it.
think for us though, it's more so like for your legacy, you could have also won this
Yeah,
one. You know what I mean? And then
yeah,
like gone to the next one or whatever. I don't know if he's on the next one or not, but like basically whatever happened, something happened, and then you decided that that was more important than like winning this event, which for, like I said, I mean, I guess what's it matter because it probably wasn't purse money or anything, and it's just for he's still one of the gods of freestyle, so I guess, you know, ultimately he did show
yeah.
up and he did, you know, do some things that were still very impressive and Metzger-esque. So what's the difference?
Yeah, that's true. Now I do have a bad memory. If John's watching, this is probably the best person to be watching and listening, and maybe can tell us if this was '06. Then um, how much longer or how many more years did Mets have riding competitions after this? Because I feel like there wasn't many more after
No.
this. I could be wrong, but it feels like this was one of the last events.
I do think he went out riding Echo, and this is
Mm,
about that. Or no, he's still on No Fear right now, wasn't he? What was he? Yeah, he was wearing No Fear gear or Alpine
I don't
Stars. Sorry,
remember.
Alpine Stars.
Alpine Stars, yeah, it's Alpine Stars.
Oh no, he
Um,
was Echo first because he had Echo
Echo
when he
first, yeah.
flipped, and then yeah, he went to the Alpine Star stuff. So you're right. You might be right. I think it might be the Twilight there.
Yeah, so
Then he came
I
back for like
wonder
one-off stuff, like the world
the Caesar
record.
Palace
Exactly.
jump. Yeah. So I'm just wondering, like, was he a bit disillusioned as well at this point? Like, I don't know. I have absolutely no idea. My timeline of what's happened in that time, I don't know. But yeah, it just feels weird that Link was there. They didn't say much about him, and then he was then like the last guy they introduced.
Yeah.
Looked awesome from what we saw.
He said it was 05, John. Maybe Link just showed up with Metz. Now thinking about the way that you're talking about it and the way that it was edited,
it's
almost like he just rode with him. Was like, fuck it, I'll just go with you.
Yeah, it could have been. It actually could have been. Oh, there's so many things that are coming out of this. We need to get Tess on the line.
I know. I've been thinking like just how many decades we have to go through of FMX yet. And I'm like, because I was thinking today, I was like, there's so much good newer stuff, like in all the guys that we're not talking about, like the Javiers and Adelbergs and, all those guys. But I'm like, we'll get there. There's a lot of old events and stuff that happened before we ever got to any of those guys, So I think, and that's what we're just going back and reminiscing all the,
we can be really tricky and just do one from from 2017. Like we can like jump forward and jump back.
Yeah.
It can be a little bit like Back to the Future.
It's true.
Some recent history and some ancient history.
Yeah. So John said he switched to Cowie for 06, rode contests a bit, but then started phasing out. Rode Winter X in 06.
Yeah. So that timeline does kind of check out then that this is kind of
it's close to the
one
end.
of the last ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I thought. And also I guess for Linkogle.
Which is why it's cool that Metz still came out and threw down as hard as he did. And obviously, for us, it's a bummer that he left. But the fact that he was, and only for that one day, I don't understand what happened with judging the first day. But for the second day, he was one of the front runners. So I think that's the thing for us, or like the cool part. Like if you're a Metzger fan, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. The takeaway is he still delivered near the end. So, yeah, it's quite interesting.
Like I said, it's great to see the people that are supposed to be the man continue to step up and be one of the guys.
Yeah, that's it. And finding all those jumps and linking different jumps together as well. So the fact that the guy's going to go, like everybody come to watch his spot, everybody came to watch Linkogle's spot, that tells you probably the most. It's like,
for sure,
there's a lot of respect there.
Yes. That was a handful of really good guys that went over and watched that 180 thing and nobody wanted any part of it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, all of them were sitting on that.
McElroy
ledge.
Tried it once and he fell, and everybody else was like, "If McElroy can't do it, I don't know that I'm gonna try it."
Yeah, exactly. Like, we could bend a brake lever or something. Nah, let's just stay out of this one.
Yeah,
keep clear. But I mean, the other dudes like Foster rode pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Miles Richmond, 3rd overall. That was pretty good. Like, he was 17, I think they said at the time. So that was sick to see him come out when he was young. Because I remember watching, because he did a lot of step-ups, didn't he?
Yes.
At X Games. So that was like kind of, that's where I knew of him when he first came out, was all the step-up, and then Caneville, or Swingarm City.
I would say the first time I ever heard of Miles was another
probably
video
IFMAs,
that I don't remember. No, because I did IFMAs before my. Maybe I'm wrong. I think he wasn't even. Maybe he was on them. It was before this. I don't remember if he was at the first one that I went to or not. I don't think I met him there, to be quite honest. I think that was before he was even. Because I rode them in like 01.
Oh yeah, then.
So I don't even think he was.
Well, he would have been 12 then.
Yeah, exactly.
Or 13 years old.
Exactly. Yeah. So I met him later when I did the FreestyleMX.com tour shows, where I talked to Metz before he went and did the second gear flip. So that's actually where I met Miles as well. But
No, but seeing him like as a 17-year-old coming out and tearing that place up,
dude, he had
was,
so much style. He was so
yeah.
good. So the first one I remember, and I can't remember the name of the video, but I remember seeing him in a video riding with, who's his protege, or he's a protege of Doug Parsons.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And you notice their styles are super similar. And he was even riding Skin and stuff in the beginning because he rode with.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I forget what video it was, but they were showing Parsons and then they showed Miles.
Yeah. No, I think I like those sponsor deals. I had that with Shuey. Like whatever Shuey had, I was basically running the same thing. It was a really good sponsor deal that he got all the stuff and I just like got his seconds. Yeah. And you know,
I ran
that
EVS.
was kind of Miles coming through. Just yeah, I'll take that Skin sponsorship. Thank you.
I ran some EVS stuff for years that way.
Hey, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt to do it that way.
For probably most of my career, to be quite honest with you.
Hey, but you know what we didn't see was any backflips.
No backflips. Which is weird because a lot of those faces seem smoother than the faces at...
Way better.
Yeah, at Ocotillo.
Yeah.
But I
wonder if it was bigger, because there was no Twitch there to like push Metz into doing it.
It's true. And maybe that's why they judged him so poorly the first... Oh, well, there was the other riders. I was thinking if it was judges, maybe they judged him based on... You know how X Games likes to give... If somebody has a trick in the bag and they come out first run...
Oh, yeah,
and they don't do it. They like to give them a dog shit score, so that way they're forced into pulling the big trick second run.
Yeah, yeah, the old force the hand trick.
Yeah, they're like, hey, listen, you better throw it down next run, or guess what? You get fourth.
Fourth? No, you're getting seventh. You might have enough money to pay for your hotel, pal. Sorry. No, I was a little bit surprised because the whole place looks way better for flips. I could be wrong, but a lot of those jumps look pretty damn good.
Like we said, the faces look a little more like smooth and like kind of peaky, whereas Ocotillo, they looked a little bit more like soft or like just inconsistent, where it's like smooth and then there's like a hump.
Like that.
Even
the
one they flipped.
The one that they flipped, and you could see when they showed that clip of Metzger saying, you know, this was the first one on a 450. And he's like,
exactly.
Like, that would have been horrible. Like, that's actually impressive that he held on to that.
Yeah.
That would have ripped his arms as he popped out of that thing. So, like, yeah, I wonder if after that first one, then Metz was like, fuck flipping in natural terrain. I don't know. Like, wonder if it scared him a little bit, or...
I think it's like you said. I think if they're... Although he did leave early, so I guess he didn't really care that much about winning it. I don't know. There's a lot going on here.
Yeah, exactly. The Todd Potter part, actually, I was going to say, because that was... So what did we say? It is 06?
It's, 05 or 06.
Yeah, so 06 was when I met Todd Potter. I think, it was either 05 or 06. And there was a competition in Melbourne. And so Pete Anderson and I, we were like the two young guys. I think we qualified for that one at like another competition up on the Gold Coast. So we drove down to Melbourne, and then it was all the big boys like Maddo, Shuey, Bilko, Sinclair, Balchi, Minnie, me and Pete. And then Todd Potter came out. Like,
oh, nice.
So there was three, I'm pretty sure Bilko had either done a 360 or at least it was Cam Sinclair doing massive underflips. I'm pretty sure there was ruler flips and cliffhanger flips, and all this craziness was going down at this one event. And there was only three guys not flipping: me, Pete, and Todd Potter.
Oh.
And I'm like, what are you? What? I'm like, you're not flipping? And he's like, nah, fuck that. And I was like, really? I was I was actually surprised. I would have thought he'd be flipping. He still killed it. Like, he got a pretty damn good score with his upright tricks. He didn't need to be, playing around with flips. But I was just so surprised that he wasn't flipping at that time and was doing so well without it. Didn't need it.
Well, because his
did,
tricks were huge. Yeah, obviously.
Killing it after it.
But his tricks are huge and his style was good.
Exactly.
So.
And that was his invite.
And he was a militia guy, and on videos, that didn't hurt either, don't forget.
Exactly. That's it. I remember he got a turd of a bike as well when he came out. He turned up and it was this piece of crap Honda. And I remember he had a million problems with it. He still rode good, but I do remember he had a million problems with it. So, yeah.
John remembers the event you're talking about. He says he thinks Potter was doing 180 turn downs off an old super kicker.
Probably was, actually.
Like full 180, bringing it back.
Man, what I really remember about that competition was how steep the knuckle was on the landing. I was shitting myself on the jump. So I kind of don't really remember the competition. I just remember bricking it, going, what the fuck am I doing here? I'm not good enough for this. But as I was saying that, they were all throwing down. So I'm like, okay, just shut up and do your job and get it done. But yeah, I think he might be right, because I think it was a battle between Steve Minnie and Todd Potter on the 180 whips.
I think that sounds about right.
But yeah, so no, at that time, that was when Potter was just full on, no flips. It was just upright tricks. He's going ham and double hearts and rock solids over 100-foot jumps. Easy for Todd.
Yeah, no problem. All right, well, let's wrap it up here so you can get to sleep. But
man, I'll still be pumped after this one. I probably won't sleep again. Like, honestly, last time I was probably awake for another hour and a half, 2 hours after this.
That's hilarious.
Laying there in bed, like, I could do this, we could do that, and fell asleep. Then we had New Year's Eve, and I forgot everything I thought of. So,
well, all right. Next week, we got the third and final installation of FMX Riot.
Hell yeah! Can't wait to see what goes down in this one.
And I forget. I had something else that I was looking at, but I don't remember. Maybe we'll do air style, like John sent us. That one's early.
Oh.
Or we can jump up. That's pretty early.
That's like.
That's a very early.
2.
Yeah, it's a very, very early video.
Okay, let's go for it. I'm up for that.
All right, everybody.
Sweet as, man.
Yeah, thank you guys for hanging out this whole time, and leave a comment. Any good events, any links to any events that are already online that are not getting, taken down or whatever, let us know, and we'll do a companion with it.
Yeah, actually, we got the new dude who texted through the other day.
Yep.
I can't remember the link, but he sent through, somebody's putting up some clips on YouTube right now.
So there's a account, Moto X Psycho.
That's it.
They're posting stuff up, and he actually messaged on the account, was like, dude, FMX needs guys like you. And I'm like, FMX needs guys like you, and holla.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's what I said to him. I'm like, man, there's this guy, Braden Hollick, and he's been putting up some clips. And he's like, yeah, well, there's another one that's going up. Like, oh, bring it on. Yeah, thank you very much. That's what we all need.
Yeah, perfect.
So, man,
all right, everybody.
Thank you very much, guys. Yeah, no, I was going to say thank you as well, because this will come out on the podcast, on Riders Lounge podcast. So I'll mishmash it and probably just use the last bit that we did this time, like last. It worked out really well. So yeah, I think what you were saying, if there's more footage, and I'm thinking Jake Bowen as well. That dude's got a lot of his own footage we could.
Yeah, he does have random ass. Because I remember finding his account, and I'm like, it's like Planet X, and I'm watching, and I'm like, this is just phone footage or something. Not at that time, it probably wasn't phone. It was, you know what I mean, a camcorder or something. But I'm like, this is just random camcorder footage of like all these events.
Yeah, but it looks sick. So yeah, let's see. Maybe we can get some more clips like that too. Awesome.
All right, everybody. See you guys later.
Yatcha.